if you are standing in line at the movie theater or hovering your thumb over your TV remote deciding on whether or not you should watch Relay, I'll tell you right now to buy that ticket or press that play button because this movie's worth the watch. Anyway, have a good one. Eat some eggs. Of course, that's not the whole video. Let me explain why this movie was an absolute banger and why I think the ending is terrible but redeemable. Relay is about a broker who helps whistleblowers make deals with corrupt corporations in an effort to protect people who cannot protect themselves from these powerful companies. This is done by using a relay service, which is typically used for those with speech or hearing disabilities, to communicate with others over the phone. Except in this case, the relay service is used to help the broker interact with his client without putting himself in danger. The broker, or main character of this movie, goes by the name of Ash, who's played by Riz Ahmed, and he is trying to help Sarah, who's played by Lily James. Sarah has documents proving that a company she worked for is going to release some type of product that is dangerous for people to use, but because this company went after her, she is now trying to make things right by returning the documents and hopefully make her life somewhat normal again, even if that means letting that company do whatever they want. She originally wanted to warn people that this company was going to release the bad product, but because she has basically no power at all over this company, she decides she wants to call it quits and return the documents so they'll leave her alone. Ash's character helps to ensure that Sarah is safe in the meantime and that everything gets handled properly with the corrupt organization. Now, this movie is considered a paranoid thriller, and it definitely lives up to that description. The entire movie, I felt like I was on the edge of my seat, wondering what crazy shenanigans were going to happen next. The way Ash uses the relay service and even postal services, surprisingly enough, is awesome to watch. He just knows the rules and policies of both the relay and like mail postal services very well, and that allows him to be pretty much untrackable, whether that means he's trying to talk over the phone with Sarah or send her things in the mail, or vice versa if she's sending him stuff in the mail. Anyway, moving on to the bozo villains in this movie. They are honestly pretty unmemorable because they don't really do a damn thing until it starts getting closer to the end of the movie. I swear, if you held a gun to my head and told me to give you the name of just one villain in this movie, the ground here would be soaking with brain juices. Because yeah, I have no shot. I don't remember a single name of any of the villains, except for the twist villain. Now that's not to say they're bad villains. It's just that Ash is always 2 steps ahead, and he is constantly outsmarting them. Even when he starts messing up, he's still much smarter and has his ass covered at all times. It feels like Ash is just like a level 300 thief, and he's going up against level 6 goons. So it's just really no contest between the villains and Ash. With all that summed up, I'm going to say that this is your spoiler warning because I can't explain much more without getting into spoilers, and I do plan on discussing the end of the movie and why I think the ending potentially ruins the movie with the twist. Anyway, I was just yapping about how Ash is phenomenally better than the villains he is up against, but I also mentioned that he does start messing up as the movie goes on. In most cases, he makes deals with his clients, and he makes it very clear that if they do not follow his rules, then he'll bail on them. So basically, if they don't follow his very detailed list that he offers them, then he's just going to bail because he doesn't want to get caught helping them because it's a dangerous job. If he bailed and stuck to his rules, then the movie would honestly it would have been over. Roll credits, that would have been it. It would have been done. But this poor dude ends up liking Sarah, who is the girl he's protecting during this whole movie, and he starts going out of his way to help her, even though she keeps putting him in dangerous situations because she isn't following his orders exactly as he says. Now, I had zero problem with him not bailing on her because their relationship had developed slightly, so they seemed to be heading a little more down like the friends route, possibly even potential love route. And I kind of wish that they had stuck with that, even if it was just like a respected acquaintance, respected friends kind of relationship, just because that was where the movie was going pretty much the entire time. However, that's not what we got. I would say the perfect ending for this movie happens like about 20 to 30 minutes before the movie actually ends. And it happens with Sarah going on this train. And if she just left on that train and that was it, I think the movie would have been perfect. Or if there was a little bit more after that with Ash pursuing like the corporation that's actually coming after him, then I would have liked to see that. But I kind of wish that Sarah wasn't involved anymore after she left on the train. Now, the only reason why I say that is because the twist is terrible and it strongly involves Sarah. So I'm definitely going to spoil the twist here. So if you don't want to hear it, it's definitely time to skip to the end. Anyway, Sarah's the main girl that Ash is helping throughout the entire movie. And she is the twist villain. And she's been using Ash, hoping that he will slip up and break his own rules, which would allow Sarah and the other goons to capture Ash and obtain some documents he'd been hiding from like a previous relay job that he had done. Now, I could definitely use a rewatch just because I'm sure there are things I missed, but the twist just felt so weak, especially since you spend like the whole movie caring about this fake company when in reality it's a previous company that's coming after Ash. Also, when Sarah becomes the twist villain, I feel like she goes from being a well developed character to being a low level goon like the rest of the villains of this movie. I even feel like she has significantly less speaking roles once she switches up on Ash, which I think also adds to just taking away from her being a well developed character. I just feel like they really threw Sarah in the trash once they made her like a villain. Which Ash stays awesome throughout the entire movie, but I just think that them ruining Sarah really dragged the movie down a bit for me. Now, I know I've only watched the movie one time, and I'm sure if I watched it again, I would probably have a different opinion on the twist, especially. But as it stands right now, I really dislike the twist. I did have an idea on how to fix it, though, and I think that would be through a prequel. I think Relay would make an incredibly strong sequel, but there's just nothing that comes before it at the moment. So if they made a prequel, I think they could highlight the company that's actually after Ash instead of the fake one, and maybe even show Sarah early on before she gets involved with Ash, and that we can see her development as being just a goon that's going to end up going after him. And actually, the intro to this movie is pretty long, and I'm pretty sure that the story that they start with involves the company that's truly after Ash. So it'd be interesting to see that as a prequel anyway, just because the very beginning of the movie feels like there's already a lot going on, and you're kind of just thrown into the middle of this plot. So I think getting like a little bit of information before everything was going on would be awesome to see, and I'd honestly love to see this, like, to see Ash or Riz Ahmed on screen again, just because he does a fantastic job. Even was it Lily James? I would like to see her on screen again as well, just because both of them do a great job in this movie. Like it's an awesome movie. I loved it. But anyway, without a prequel to the movie, I feel like the antagonist kind of feels weak. But with a prequel, I think it would pretty much tie up any loose ends or anything that just felt off about Relay's current ending. I am very split on how I want to rank this movie because I want to give it a 10 out of 12, but the ending almost makes me want to drop it to an 8 out of 12. I'm going to assume that if I watch it again, I'll appreciate the ending a little more. So I think I'll clock this movie in at 10 out of 12 eggs because I really enjoyed every aspect of this movie until the twist happened. Anyway, that's all for now. Have a good one and eat some eggs.